You're falling. The ground rushes toward you at impossible speed. Your stomach lurches, and just before impact, you wake, heart pounding, drenched in sweat. This exact nightmare has haunted humanity across every continent, every culture, every language. A businessman in Tokyo, a farmer in rural Kenya, a student in Stockholm, all awakening to the same terrifying descent through darkness. What defies explanation is this: how can 8 billion minds, separated by vast oceans and shaped by millennia of distinct cultural experiences, share such identical visions of terror? Why do our sleeping brains reach for the same primal fears: falling, being chased, losing control, regardless of whether we've ever faced these dangers in waking life? The truth behind these shared nightmares will challenge everything you thought you knew about the human mind. It's not just about common fears or shared biology. It's about an ancient system of warning signals, encrypted in our neural pathways since the dawn of consciousness. Right now, we're about to decode the first and most universal of these dark messages: the falling dream. What you're about to discover isn't just fascinating. It could revolutionize how you understand your own mind. Before we dive deeper into this mystery, take a moment to share your own falling dream experience in the comments below. Have you experienced this universal nightmare? And if you're intrigued by the secrets of your sleeping mind, hit that subscribe button, because this is just the beginning of our journey into the depths of human consciousness. Picture this: you're lying in bed, your body completely paralyzed, yet your mind races with terror. Your heart pounds as invisible predators chase you through endless corridors, or you plummet through space toward an inevitable, crushing impact. This is the paradox of sleep paralysis, when your body becomes a prison while your mind unleashes humanity's most primal fears. These terrifying experiences aren't random. They're part of an ancient warning system, hardwired into our DNA through millions of years of survival. Every time you jolt awake from a falling dream, you're experiencing the same protective mechanism that kept your ancestors alive in the dangerous world they inhabited. When you enter deep sleep, your brain performs an extraordinary balancing act. It temporarily disconnects your consciousness from your muscles, a safety mechanism preventing you from acting out your dreams. But while your body lies still, the primitive emotional centers of your brain spring into overdrive, scanning for threats that once meant life or death for our species. Think of it as your brain's emergency alert system. While the rational part of your mind rests, your survival instincts take control. That sudden sensation of falling that jolts you awake? It's your nervous system performing one final safety check, making sure you haven't actually fallen from the high places where our tree-dwelling ancestors once slept. This explains why certain nightmares feel so universal. A child in the Amazon rainforest and a city dweller in Manhattan might dream of being chased through very different landscapes, but the core terror remains identical. They're both tapping into the same ancient template, the primal fear of being prey. The falling dream reveals something particularly fascinating about our evolutionary history. For millions of years, our primate ancestors slept in trees, where a momentary loss of grip meant certain death. Your brain still carries this ancient programming, which is why the sensation of falling triggers such an immediate, visceral response, even if you've never experienced a dangerous fall in your life. Your sleeping brain is like a sophisticated security system, running through scenarios that once meant survival or death for our species. When you dream of being chased, losing control, or falling from heights, you're not just experiencing random fears. You're connecting with the collective survival memory of humanity. These nighttime terrors might seem like a cruel joke of evolution, but they serve a purpose. They're rehearsals for danger, keeping our survival instincts sharp even in our safe modern world. Your brain doesn't know you live in a secure apartment. It's still running the same safety protocols that protected your ancestors from predators and fatal falls. But this is just the beginning of understanding how your ancient brain interprets modern signals. In our next episode, we'll explore how these biological alarm systems interact with our psychological fears, creating a complex web of meaning that goes far beyond simple survival instincts. For now, remember this. Every time you wake from a nightmare, you're experiencing the echo of humanity's greatest survival tool, our ability to anticipate and prepare for danger, even in our sleep. Your nightmares aren't a malfunction. They're evidence of an incredibly sophisticated system that has kept our species alive through countless challenges. The next time you find yourself jolting awake from a falling dream, take a moment to appreciate this remarkable mechanism. You're not just experiencing a bad dream. You're witnessing the incredible sophistication of your evolutionary heritage, still working tirelessly to keep you safe, even in the modern world. Picture this. You're scrolling through social media late at night, thumb moving mindlessly through endless posts, when that familiar wave of dread washes over you. Everyone else seems to have it all figured out. Their careers soaring, their relationships perfect, their lives an Instagram highlight reel. Your chest tightens as these thoughts follow you into sleep, where they transform into vivid nightmares that feel all too real. These aren't random bad dreams. They're your mind's way of processing the unique pressures of modern life, where we're constantly bombarded with images of perfection while feeling increasingly powerless in our own lives. Our ancient brains, evolved for simpler times, are struggling to make sense of this new reality. Today's epidemic of anxiety-driven nightmares reveals something profound about our collective psychology. When darkness falls and our conscious defenses lower, three fundamental fears emerge to haunt our dreams. Fears that define the modern human experience. The first is our growing sense of powerlessness. In a world where invisible algorithms shape our reality and global events feel beyond our control, our minds desperately search for stability. This manifesting in dreams where we're falling endlessly, where our cars won't stop, or where we're running but can't move forward. The second fear stems from our endless performance anxiety. Social media has turned every moment into a potential post, every interaction into content. We're constantly watching ourselves through others' eyes, measuring up against impossible standards. No wonder we dream of showing up unprepared, of failing publicly, of being exposed as frauds. The third fear cuts deeper still, our profound loneliness in an hyper-connected world. Despite endless notifications and digital connections, we've never felt more isolated. Our sleeping minds process this contradiction through dreams of calling out without being heard, of being invisible in crowded rooms, of reaching for connections that slip through our fingers. These three psychological wounds, powerlessness, inadequacy, and isolation, aren't just personal struggles. They're the shared experience of billions, amplified by technology and reflected in our collective nightmares. During daylight hours, we keep these fears at bay through busy schedules and careful curation of our online selves. But in dreams, they emerge raw and unfiltered. Yet these nightmares aren't merely torments. They're messages from our deepest selves, trying to make sense of a world that often feels senseless. They're not random chaos, but meaningful signals, pointing to the gaps between what we need as human beings and what modern life provides. But what if these nightmares aren't just processing our daily anxieties? What if they're tapping into something deeper, ancient symbols and shared fears that have haunted humanity since we first gathered around fires to share stories? What if the monsters chasing us through our dreams aren't just reflections of our personal fears, but echoes of collective memories passed down through generations? As we drift toward sleep tonight, consider this. Those terrifying dreams might be more than just your mind's attempt to process a difficult day. They might be windows into our shared human experience, connecting us to each other through the universal language of fear. But what ancient wisdom lies hidden in these shared nightmares? What are they trying to tell us about who we are and what we've forgotten? In our next exploration, we'll delve into the mysterious world of cultural symbols and collective unconscious, where your personal nightmares intersect with humanity's oldest stories. The monsters in your dreams might have more to teach us than we ever imagined. Have you ever jolted awake from a dream about snakes, only to discover that millions of others share the exact same nightmare? It's not just coincidence. These shared dream symbols tap into something far deeper than our individual experiences. Think of these universal nightmare symbols like ancient alarm systems wired into our minds. Just as we all instinctively jump at sudden loud noises, certain dream images trigger responses that transcend culture and time. The snake in your nightmare isn't random. It's activating primal circuits that helped keep our ancestors alive for millions of years. These shared symbols live in what psychologist Carl Jung called our collective unconscious, a kind of psychological inheritance that all humans share. It's why people who've never seen a horror movie still dream of being chased through dark corridors, and why students who graduated decades ago still have exam nightmares. Let's look at some of these universal nightmare scenarios. The exam room dream shows up everywhere from Tokyo to London to São Paulo. Whether you're 18 or 80, that feeling of being unprepared for a crucial test taps into our deep fears about judgment and worth. The ghost that appears in your sleep. Every culture has stories about the restless dead, representing our shared questions about mortality and unfinished business. These nightmare symbols work like a universal language that our sleeping minds all understand. When you dream of falling, you're experiencing the same symbolic descent that appears in myths and stories worldwide. That monster chasing you through your dreams, it might represent the parts of yourself that you're afraid to face, a pattern that shows up in tales from every corner of the globe. But here's the thing. These nightmares aren't just trying to scare you. They're actually invitations to understand yourself better. That terrifying snake might be pointing to opportunities for personal growth. The ghost might be nudging you to resolve something you've been avoiding. Even that stressful exam dream might be preparing you for real challenges ahead. Try keeping track of your recurring nightmare symbols. You might start noticing patterns, certain images that keep showing up during particularly stressful times. These aren't random. They're your mind using humanity's oldest language to send you important messages. What's fascinating is how these nightmare patterns are shifting in our modern world. While ancient symbols persist, new ones are emerging that reflect our contemporary fears. Digital monsters, endless social media feeds, technological glitches. Our collective unconscious is evolving with our society. But what if we could do more than just understand these nightmares? What if technology could help us peek behind the curtain of our shared dreaming mind? Recent advances in neuroscience and AI are starting to crack the code of our nocturnal narratives, offering glimpses into the physical processes behind these universal experiences. As we stand on the brink of these technological breakthroughs, the ancient symbols in our nightmares might hold the key to understanding not just our individual psyches, but the very nature of human consciousness itself. What secrets might we uncover when we combine age-old wisdom with cutting-edge science? What might brain imaging and artificial intelligence reveal about the shared language of our dreams? Tonight, as you drift off to sleep, remember that you're not alone in your nightmares. Millions of others are experiencing the same symbolic journey, wrestling with the same ancient images, participating in humanity's oldest form of collective experience. But as science advances, we're getting closer to understanding exactly how and why these shared dreams shape our lives, and what they might tell us about our future. Imagine waking up to discover that scientists can now see your dreams, not just interpret them, but actually watch them unfold in real time. Sound like sci-fi? It's happening right now in labs across the world. Every night, as millions struggle with nightmares, teams of researchers are using cutting-edge technology to peer into the sleeping mind. They're not just watching. They're beginning to decode and potentially even control our darkest dreams. The key breakthrough came from an unexpected place. Those massive MRI machines you might associate with hospital visits. These scanners can track blood flow in the brain with incredible precision, showing which areas light up during different activities. Scientists made a stunning discovery. Your brain can't tell the difference between seeing something while awake or in a dream. That snake in your nightmare? It triggers the exact same patterns as seeing a real snake. This opened the door to something remarkable. AI systems that can actually see what you're dreaming about. By analyzing thousands of brain scans from sleeping subjects, artificial intelligence has learned to recognize specific dream patterns. See a face in your dream? There's a unique brain signature for that. Running from danger? That has its own neural fingerprint. But here's where it gets even more interesting. New brain-computer interfaces, using tiny electrodes smaller than a human hair, can now listen to individual brain cells firing during dreams. It's like having a microscope that can zoom in on your thoughts. These devices are already helping scientists reconstruct rough images from dreams. Blurry and basic for now, but improving rapidly. Think about what this means. We're approaching a world where your nightmares could be monitored, modified, or even erased in real time. Imagine a device that detects when a nightmare is starting and gently steers your dream in a better direction. Some labs are already testing systems that can influence dream content using subtle magnetic pulses or sensory cues. The possibilities go way beyond just fixing bad dreams. Want to practice that big presentation while you sleep? Or work through trauma in a controlled dream environment? These technologies might make it possible. Some researchers even believe we'll eventually be able to share dreams directly, experiencing each other's nighttime adventures as if they were our own. But before we rush to erase our nightmares, we need to ask some hard questions. Dreams, even the scary ones, serve important purposes. That monster chasing you might represent a real problem you need to face. The falling dream might be your mind's way of preparing for uncertainty. When we start editing our dreams, are we also editing out important messages from our subconscious? These technologies raise serious privacy concerns too. Your dreams are currently the most private space you have, the one place where your thoughts are truly your own. What happens when machines can read them? Who gets access to your dream data? Could your nightmares be used against you? We're standing at a crossroads. The technology to decode and modify dreams isn't just coming. It's already here, growing more sophisticated every day. Soon, those terrifying dreams that have haunted humans since the dawn of time might become as readable as text on a screen. But here's what's really fascinating. While scientists race to build machines that can control our dreams, humans have already developed natural methods to influence their nighttime experiences. What if you could become the master of your own dreams without any technology at all? What if the power to shape your nightmares has been within you all along? The answer might surprise you, and that's exactly what we'll explore next. Have you ever jolted awake from a nightmare, heart pounding, only to feel relieved it wasn't real? What if I told you that you could not only face those nightmares, but transform them into powerful allies? Tonight, we're exploring a revolutionary approach to conquering our darkest dreams. Every night, millions of people face the same enemy, recurring nightmares that leave them feeling helpless and afraid. But what if these nightmares aren't our enemies at all? What if they're actually trying to tell us something important? The breakthrough comes from an unexpected source: lucid dreaming. The remarkable state where you become aware that you're dreaming while still inside the dream. This isn't just fantasy. It's a scientifically validated phenomenon that's changing how we understand and interact with our dreams. Think of it like becoming the director of your own mental movie. When you achieve lucidity in a dream, you're no longer just a passive viewer being chased by monsters. You can turn around and transform that monster into whatever you choose. Let's start with the first technique: reality testing. Throughout your day, pause and ask yourself, am I dreaming right now? But here's the crucial part. You must genuinely examine your reality each time. Look at your hands. Do they appear normal? Check a clock twice. Does the time make sense? Read some text, look away, then read it again. Does it remain the same? This isn't just a mental exercise. You're building a habit that will eventually carry into your dreams. When you're dreaming, these reality anchors often behave strangely. Hands might have extra fingers, clocks might show impossible times, and text tends to shift and change. The second technique is what sleep researchers call dream scripting. As you lie in bed each night, create a detailed mental rehearsal of becoming lucid. Don't just think, I want to lucid dream. Instead, craft a precise scenario. When I see that recurring dark corridor, I will realize I'm dreaming. I will look at my hands, confirm I'm dreaming, and then I will choose to turn on the lights. But what about when you actually encounter a nightmare? This is where we use a powerful method called imagery rehearsal therapy. During your waking hours, deliberately reimagine your recurring nightmare with a different ending. If you're always being chased, practice turning to face your pursuer. If you're falling, imagine transforming that fall into peaceful flight. Research in sleep laboratories has shown remarkable results with this technique. When people consistently practice these methods, their nightmares begin to lose their power. The pursuing figure might become a guide. The endless fall might become an adventure in flight. Some practitioners develop what they call dream allies, recurring characters they can summon for help when dreams turn dark. It might be a wise mentor, a protective animal, or even an idealized version of yourself. These allies become powerful tools for transforming nightmare scenarios. The beauty of these techniques lies in their accessibility. While laboratories work with complex equipment to study dreams, you already possess the most sophisticated dream control technology ever created: your own consciousness. These methods aren't just about having better dreams. They're about developing a fundamental understanding of fear itself. When you can face a dream monster and transform it into an ally, You begin to recognize something profound about all fears. They can be approached, understood, and transformed. As powerful as these techniques are, they're just the beginning of what's possible when we learn to work with our dreams consciously. In our next chapter, we'll explore how these personal victories in the dream world can lead to even more remarkable transformations in our waking lives. Remember, tonight when you close your eyes, you're not just going to sleep. You're stepping into a practice ground for courage, creativity, and conscious choice. The question isn't whether you'll dream tonight. It's what you'll choose to do when you realize you're dreaming. Have you ever found yourself stumbling over words during an important presentation, your heart racing as your mind goes blank? Just like that universal falling dream that jolts us awake, public speaking anxiety is a shared human experience that transcends cultures and borders. As we conclude our journey of mastering communication skills, let's transform these moments of fear into opportunities for growth. Throughout this series, we've explored the foundations of effective communication, from understanding the physiological responses that trigger speech anxiety to developing practical techniques for confident expression. We've seen how our minds are wired to respond to certain social triggers, much like how Robert Cialdini's principles of influence shape our behavior. Now, it's time to bring these insights together and see how they can revolutionize your approach to public speaking. Remember those early exercises we practiced? The deep breathing techniques, the structured speaking formats, the mindset adjustments. These weren't just random tools. They were carefully designed stepping stones, each building upon the last, to create a comprehensive system for confident communication. Just as we learned to transform anxiety into energy, you can now harness that nervous excitement before a presentation to fuel your delivery. The journey to becoming a confident speaker mirrors the process of personal growth. When do we feel most nervous about speaking? Not when we're stuck in our comfort zone, but precisely when we're pushing our boundaries, when we're reaching for new opportunities, when we're becoming more than we were before. That flutter in your stomach isn't a warning to retreat. It's a sign that you're expanding your capabilities. Think about your own progress since we began. Perhaps you've noticed that your voice shakes less during team meetings, or you're more willing to contribute ideas in group discussions. These small victories aren't just about better communication. They're evidence of your growing self-trust and leadership potential. The techniques we've explored, from storytelling structures to body language mastery, are more than just communication tools. They're practices in conscious evolution. When you learn to transform nervous energy into powerful presence, you're developing skills that enhance every aspect of your life. You're proving to yourself that even in moments of uncertainty, you can choose your response. But perhaps the most beautiful discovery is how this journey connects us. Whether you're a CEO preparing for a keynote speech or a student getting ready for a class presentation, we all share these moments of vulnerability. In facing our communication challenges, we're part of a vast human tradition of finding our voice and making it heard. I invite you to share your own communication transformation story in the comments below. Tell us about a moment when you conquered your speaking anxiety, how you implemented these techniques, or what breakthrough helped you find your confidence. Your experience might be exactly what another viewer needs to hear. As you continue your journey of communication mastery, remember this: that nervous energy before speaking isn't your enemy. It's your ally in disguise, your body's way of preparing you for peak performance. Every great speaker started exactly where you are now, with a racing heart and a desire to be heard. Before we conclude, I want to thank you for being part of this transformative journey. If you found value in these lessons, please show your support by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Share it with someone who might benefit from these insights. Together, we're building a community of confident, articulate communicators. The path to powerful communication isn't about eliminating fear. It's about transforming it into fuel for authentic connection. And in those moments when you feel most challenged, remember, you're not just learning to speak. You're becoming the fullest expression of yourself. Your voice matters. Your story matters. And the world is waiting to hear what you have to say.